Welcome back to All Eyes on Me. This is Divinity, your host, and tonight I am interviewing one of my greatest friends in LA, Jeremy.
Thank you for having me.
So excited that you're here.
I'm proud of you. This
I
is
love you.
amazing. Like, you fucking doing the thing. Like, I love it.
Thanks, babe.
I fucking love it. This is amazing. And I'm just so overwhelmed and proud of you. And we've been talking offline, so.
Oh, man.
Yeah, y'all don't even know. Maybe it's behind the scenes information, but when you're real friends, you look out for your friends and you want to know how they're doing and make sure they're good. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy that you're here. Honestly,
I'm happy to be here.
I've been trying to get Jeremy on the podcast for a minute,
You have.
but we were still in the works and we were like, booking people. We were excited, and then some shit went down with the studio, and then some shit went down with the audio, and I don't know. Jeremy was one of those people that I was like, okay, it doesn't matter how many times I reschedule him because he's family.
Right.
And I know he's going to show up. He's going to understand.
I definitely get it. I'm here.
So he's here.
Yeah.
I texted him and I was like,
ready. I was like, when you ready, I'm ready.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it's happening for real this time.
Yeah. That's it. And that's all. Hey, it takes a while. I know how it is when you're doing something new.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, people don't understand when you have a business, the first thing is to like do it. It could be the ideas in your mind, but you gotta just do it and go from there. Like, don't be scared. It could be daunting, but just start. If you don't start, you never finish.
So Jeremy was literally one of my first, if not my first friend when I first moved here in LA.
For sure. And we just met organically. You were at the coffee shop next to my store. And it wasn't even me. One of my employees was like, oh my God, I met this dope girl and she may want to shoot. I'm like, well, bring her in. Let's meet her. And you had just positive vibes. And, I don't believe in forcing anything. But we always just kept communication. And throughout the years, I think it's 4 or 5 years,
Yeah, we're going on 5 years.
Yeah, and I'm just so proud of you, and we show up for each other. I know your journey from, here and now, and I think it's amazing. That's why I'm so protective of you. So,
as you should be, because I keep getting hurt.
And I don't like that. So I need to meet them.
Them?
Who is them?
Yeah, you did good.
Okay,
You got their
pronoun.
pronoun.
Yes, I'm learning.
My boy.
I'm learning.
I mean, I first met Jeremy when I moved here at 25. Mm-hmm. So we've been friends for 5 years now.
Yes.
I am now almost 30.
Right.
Jeremy is a fresh dad.
I'm a fresh dad, you guys.
And I don't know, we're
3 weeks. Jackson is his name.
Holy shit.
You have to meet him.
I do have to meet him. I got to come over tomorrow.
Maybe you can cook because we need food.
Bro, I can fucking cook. Don't tempt me. I will cook so much food for you guys.
We only have one prerequisite. Just bring a home cooked meal.
I got you. Yeah.
It's a lot.
How is it? How's dad life?
It's amazing, very rewarding, and very challenging too. Because I'm used to having my life beforehand, and when you're not a parent, you're just very self-centered. Even when you're in relationships, you're just not used to caring for a whole person that's dependent on you. So it's lovely to wake up and see a reflection of yourself, and just see unconditional love and pureness, and it's just like, God, thank you for this blessing, and I'm excited. I love it. I definitely love it.
Did you ever see yourself becoming a dad?
I did. I definitely knew I was going to be a dad someday. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I think when I first met Carrie, I was like, maybe this is it. Like, fuck it, no condom. We just go, maybe TMI, but it's like.
There's no TMI on this fucking podcast. But, you can cuss, you can say all of it.
We weren't trying to have a kid, but then we had one, a blessing.
Yeah.
She wasn't either, but it's okay. Like, we're both two different people, but we've joined a major, incredible person. And I think that's amazing. And I think it's both what we both needed at this point in our lives, to grow. And I'm just happy. I'm happy to be a dad. I can say that. Yeah. For sure. Yes.
You look a little sleep deprived too.
Yeah, 5:30 a.m. is no joke.
Holy shit.
We go back and forth, and even her mom is here, but, it's a teamwork, and diaper and baby wipe, and we work together, and you sleep when you can. So like today, I think we woke up 3 a.m., 5 a.m., we was eating, and then I fell asleep again for maybe 2 or 3 hours after that. Mm-hmm. But then it's, you're up, you're up. He needs us, we're up for right now. And then we're getting him on a routine. So the routine is to try to be 4 hours at night. Maybe he sleeps from 12 to 4 or, 10 to 2, but we're trying to get him on that routine. But, we're working on it.
And you and Carrie weren't dating for that long.
We weren't. We met prior briefly, like we were dated prior, and then we kind of went our separate ways in the right timing, and then we organically ran into each other because we met on a dating app. You know how dating apps are. You know, you have
That's how I met my partner.
Yeah, but we met on a dating app, and
Yeah.
we did that, and then we, said let's be friends. It's not the right time, and then just randomly at Target across from my store, I was like, Carrie, she's like Jeremy, and it was like the right timing. Then we talked, and then we rekindled things, and then that grew, but. Yeah, I think from the point where we rekindled to the pregnancy, my mom said, like, she's been pregnant longer than you've been in a relationship. And that's true. So this is a part now where we're just relearning each other, and enjoying being family and having this wonderful thing. But every day is a new journey, and I'm happy that she's my partner, and I'm happy she's my baby mama,
Yeah. She's a hot baby mama at that.
She's very hot.
Shout out to Carrie, the hottest mom in the fucking world.
We love you.
We love you.
And it's good to have somebody that challenges you every day to be better.
Does she do that?
Absolutely.
How so?
Just, Jeremy, like, I may have done things a way she didn't agree, and we could talk about it, and that's important, I think, to have someone that could be maybe not your devil's advocate, but just someone that doesn't have your own perspective, but can teach you to be a better person because they have a different point of view. So it makes you want to dig deep and say, well, maybe I could do this a little bit differently. And with her, like I told her, maybe you could do this a little bit differently. Opposites attract. I believe in that. So it's just nice to just grow and be challenged. Yeah. And I love that we're growing together.
Yeah.
Because we're both first-time parents. That was hard for anybody.
Exciting.
Yeah.
But scary.
It is scary. It is scary, but it's rewarding, and it's a lot of love involved. And so we just take it one day at a time.
I want to get Carrie on the podcast because...
When she told me she wanted to do it just, right now, literally, like I say, every 2 hours she's feeding. Yeah. So maybe like in a couple months, 6 months, reach back out.
For people that don't know this, because you guys are new to the podcast and getting to know all the new people that I'm hosting on here, Jeremy is not just one of my greatest friends, my family, my brother. That's why he's so protective of me. Right. I'm like his little sister.
Yes.
Jeremy is also an incredible business owner. He's a fashion designer. Thank you. His wife to be, maybe someday, baby mama, partner, girlfriend, Bae. Yes. She is an actress and just so much else, like a model. Yeah,
she does a little bit of everything, philanthropist and just amazing human.
Yeah, I mean, your business like started out downtown when I met you.
So it started, that was the second phase of my business. So before I met you, I started my company, 8586, 2015. I came up with the name, and originally I thought this maybe could be like a consignment, or there's like a Wasteland and a Buffalo Exchange. And
what's Wasteland?
Wasteland is like where you put your old clothes and they give you money for it.
Okay.
So when I was originally thinking of like what I wanted to do business wise, I thought maybe it'll be like a place where people do clothes and not consignment. And then as I thought about it, I was like, no, that's not the right move for me because my inventory is based on other people.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. So, I was working wholesale. I was a sales rep for a few different denim companies. And I was like, well, how cool, maybe if I just have my own boutique and carries really cool streetwear stuff, and that might be a vibe. So I came up with the name while still working my 9 to 5.
What was your 9 to 5 at the time?
So I was working in a showroom. As a basically they call it like a wholesale rep. So I would go to stores and sell them a line, and they would buy it wholesale, for me for different lines. I had a denim line, I had a women's ready to wear line, but I worked for someone else. So starting off, I just said, well, while I'm here in this space and I have these connections, let me just start small. I started with $300, and it was just a small. Calvin Klein was my first major label because they were on the same floor as us.
Wait, hold up. We got to back this up.
Okay.
How the fuck did you start a business with $300?
I started with Shopify. Had a free trial. And
Shopify.
Yeah, this is back in 2015. Like everything was new. Instagram, Shopify, everything, all these enterprises were new.
And at this point, how long had you worked at your showroom?
How much it wasn't even my showroom. It was another person. It was a ladies' showroom. So I had worked there maybe for 6 months. And before that, I had worked 2 or 3 years in the wholesale industry.
Okay.
Because I worked retail. So my whole story, back it up. I graduated from UC Riverside. I was working part-time for True Religion, Denim.
Oh my God. True Religion was my shit in high school.
And so I was working part-time for them. I graduated. They promoted me to a manager, made my way up the ranks for 5 years to, corporate trainer and manager. And I opened all these stores. And I was okay, what's the next thing? And I got recruited to do wholesale for a shirt company. And the shirt company was like, well, you can travel, we'll pay. And I was like, well, this is the next thing. And why wouldn't I want to travel the world for free? Yeah. So I worked for them for maybe 2 years. And then they went under. And then I got recruited by another company. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. They fired me. Fired me. And that was the first time I got fired. And I was like, oh my God, I got fired because they had ran out of money.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the guy ran out of money. So I was like,
I've been fired one time in my life.
It's not a good feeling.
It's not a good feeling.
It's not a good feeling. So when I fired, I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out. Like, I've never been fired. So I'm reaching out to my networks and they're like, well, I can get you hired, here maybe at the showroom. And so that's when I worked at the showroom, I got hired right away, based on my experience and started that. But then at that point, I was like, well, I've made these companies millions of dollars. I know the ropes now. I know what it's like to be a buyer, work with buyers and corporate. And this is something I could do, on my own. I can start my own company and make myself a millionaire. So
what's your sign?
Virgo.
Strategist.
We have a vision in our mind.
Yes, you're great at business.
We're really good. So literally starting my website, working in 9 to 5, had this on the side, building it. And then it just was growing. Instagram was new. You could reach out and DM anybody back then. They say, yeah, you want free clothes? For sure. Let me tag you. So then you get a following. Wow. So, it got a following. And by 2018, I was able to quit the 9 to 5 and open the first store. So that was the first leg. The first leg was just e-commerce only. And I recommend that to people starting your own business. You don't have to open a store. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can start from your house. I had a condo. My second bedroom, my condo was a store. Everything was, in boxes and labeled. And at one point I had an assistant when I worked, she would come and ship everything and help me. You can hire someone $20, $15 or whatever to help you along the way until you get enough financial security to go out on your own. And it's going to, even then when you go on your own, that's still a jump and that's still a leap of faith. But I at least had 2 years under my belt when I was like, okay, now I have the business to support, me going 100% with my dream.
So you were working out of your condo for 2 years?
Yes.
Well, out of your second bedroom?
I had a 9 to 5, but my side was my business. So after I got off of work, I would work on my business. So
you're at the showroom during the day, and then at night you were packaging orders.
2 a.m., yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and that was dedication that it was to be successful. And a lot of people, I don't want to talk for everybody, but I feel like now we're in an instant gratification. I want to be famous and I want to be, and you got to put the work in.
It's true.
You got to put the work in. If you have a dream, it's not going to happen overnight. It took from 2015, 2023, but I'm at the Beverly Center in 2021. That's, it's 6 years until that happened, and it was, 2-3 years until I opened the first store in downtown. There's levels, you scale your business. And, being that I'm 100% owner, I knew my business strategy was to just build my revenue, build my inventory. I never wanted someone to be in control of my business and tell me what I needed to do because I had such a clear vision of what I wanted to do. Right. Everybody has a different vision. Investors are fine. But for me, I just wanted to grow it and learn along the way and be just financially secure. So I could say I 100% own, my company, and we're great, and we're at the Beverly Center, and, and we're still growing.
Okay, so this is how Jeremy operates. He just says shit. And it's not a big deal when he says it, but it's actually a big fucking deal.
That is a big deal. For sure, it's a big deal.
So you're at the Beverly Center now.
That was a big deal.
It's in Beverly Hills. It's the mall of Beverly Hills.
It is.
And Jeremy went from 2015 when he started doing his clothing line in his condo.
Correct.
To the Beverly Center in 2023.
Well,
did I get that right?
2015, and then the downtown was 2018 to 2021. 3 years downtown.
I met Jeremy in 2019, so he had been...
you met me at the store in downtown.
You've been in downtown at that point for 1 year.
Yeah, for a year. And that was tough. It was hard that first year. It was really hard. I could say there was many times I thought, oh my God, I'm going out of business. And I just persevered. And you'll have that in your time if you're a business owner. You'll have those moments where you're like, oh my God, what should I do? And just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Things will turn around. And, when the pandemic happened, I was like, oh my God, now it's a pandemic. But, I stayed true, and we're able to open the second store right across. Remember, I had two stores, a men's and a women's downtown. So we opened that in 2020. And then when 2021, I was like, well, what's my next move? Because downtown was becoming really sketchy. And then I had the opportunity to present itself, like Beverly Center is working with up and coming, stores, and they're really working with Black-owned businesses. Like, give them a shot. So, I reached out to them, and that was hard because imagine going from, that studio to brick and mortar on that scale.
Can you describe, because it's a podcast, and obviously people can't really like see shit unless they go to the YouTube, which you guys should go to the YouTube and subscribe because that's the only way that I can actually fund this podcast. Please support me. Please subscribe. Okay, so the location downtown, that was your first store.
That was my first store, correct.
Can you describe what that looked like?
It was 250 square, probably the size of this, but it was a loft. Maybe a little bit, actually, I would say 500 square feet. 250 at the bottom, 250 at the top, but it was a loft. You go upstairs. So upstairs was my office, where we shipped, and he had the back stock. And then, you had like this tiny 250 square feet, little register, men's and women's, a little mock fitting room. I didn't even have a fitting room when I first opened. I told people to go upstairs. It was just like that. It was like we were thugging it out. Like, we open and we're going to make it happen. So
thugging it out.
We were thugging it out. So we finally, it was like one of my assistants like, Jeremy, you need a fitting room. I was like, well, can you go get fabric? And they did some fabric on the corner, and we had a fitting room. So it was like one of those things like we just learned along the way. We grew along the way. We had the online business, which was nice, but then we were going just, our brick and mortar, and, having a storefront is a lot of effort, but, it builds your brand presence. And I was fortunate that I didn't have to pay that much for rent at that place. They didn't give a lot, but they didn't ask for a lot. Right. So it was, let me take it for what it is. Let me grow. Let me have my events, and then in 2021, then I was able to say, okay, well, I think we're ready now. We have the clientele. We've been doing this a minute, let's try it, and it's been good. But, there's no risk or no reward without risk. So, it was a risk to open a store in downtown. It was a risk to close and quit my job and do that full time.
When did you quit your job?
I quit my 2018. So
when you opened the storefront?
And it was a couple months after, because they were trying to make me do a lot more than I needed to do in travel. And I was like, well, I have to pick if I'm going to do a corporate job or if I'm going to, do my passion. I chose my passion. Anytime you do your passion, I think it doesn't feel like you're working. Like, I love what I do, and that's important. Like, you love what you do. And any entrepreneur, if you don't love what you do, stop doing it, because the money will come after. You love what you do, all your energy is going to pour into that, and you're going to get the reward.
When you kept having setback after setback when you were in the building stage, how did you keep your mind straight with the money will come, the money will come? Because like sometimes you don't see that money for months, even years. So how do you know the money's going to come? Like, I think that's the big leap of faith that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with.
Honestly, God, my faith in God. And I have a really cool support system, like friends and family, that, if I need to do an event, they pull up, just off the strength of me having an event. So just, I think at one point I had spent like all my savings because I had invested in, a fanny pack. Like, I got screwed over in that business endeavor. So I was really like, damn, like, how am I going to pay my rent? Like, it's really getting tight. But I was just like,
did you just say you invested in a fanny pack?
Fanny packs were big back then, like in 2019. But it was my own fanny pack. It was like a mesh. I think you maybe modeled it.
I think so too.
I still have hundreds of them.
I think I know which fanny pack you're talking about.
So I got screwed on that investment. So I'm just like,
But that's typical.
And that's typical. Sometimes you make a risk and you meet people along the way and they're not genuine, and you learn from that. So like, I met someone and that didn't work out, but I didn't let it stop me, because I'm a person, like, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove that I'm going to still succeed and I'm going to still make it through.
Did you get discouraged? Because I feel like I've been screwed over a few times in business, especially with even just this podcast studio with like trying to hire my perfect team. Thank God I finally have my perfect team. That's why it's happening. But I have been through the ringer just trying to find the right people to work for me and the right people to collaborate and create with, even because like people be shady.
They are.
And then it kind of makes you jaded. You're like, fuck, I don't know if I can trust again.
So what I learned in business, so like say, influencers were influenced, like, oh, give me this, I'll post. And then I learned once I was not only brick and mortar, that everything needs to be a contract now, because you can't trust these people. They say, and some people you can, but you get burned along the way. So when I got the store, I was like, okay, you want this? Well, you need to come sign this contract, and we need to shoot content of you. And that was really a game changer too, is like learning like what works and what doesn't work. Learning like, you know, what can you trust, what can't you trust? You know, everybody's not genuine, and that it's anywhere you go. But you just got to be business savvy and adjust your game and pivot. And there's still times, even at the Beverly Center, like I get caught up in things and I'm like, damn, they got me, you know, because I was just so excited, you know. But it's okay, you know, take those as a learning lesson. Like I've had crazy things happen to me. But I take it as a learning lesson. I don't take it as I'm dumb or, you know, I'm not too hard on myself. I just roll with the punches. You take lemons, turn it into lemonade. And that's what I would tell any business owner is every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. Don't take it personally. You know, I've had people steal from me. You know, I'm in a big mall. So that's hard.
You've had people steal from your store in the mall?
Oh my God, yes.
Shut up.
Recently, yes.
Recently?
Yes.
Who do I have to fucking fight?
That's how I feel.
That pisses me off.
This is what I need to do next time to be better. Or I train my staff to be better. You can always be better.
Did you catch it on the camera?
Of course.
So you literally see people just taking your shit.
I see something missing, and then I'll rewind, or they'll be like, Jeremy, like, did somebody, blah, blah, and I'll like, run it real quick. And the thing about working in the mall, they can't touch anybody. They can't physically arrest anybody.
Even if you see it like right in front of you,
they said that, you can't approach them, but I guess legally they can't do anything. So literally, if we see something on the camera, like if I'm not there and my employees don't feel safe, it's just a loss, you know, unfortunately.
Wow.
And that's not okay.
What about if you're there and you witness them like picking up a purse? Are you allowed to touch them or say anything?
We've recovered things like, hey, like, what are you doing? And they'll get scared and drop it.
Okay.
And run away. So those kind of things, you got to be just mindful and teach your staff. And if there are times when they walk out and maybe it's been 10 minutes and then you notice that it's gone and they're gone. And you do call security and they'll look and they're like, they left. You know, and that's unfortunate, and stealing is ghetto, and, you know, they get their karma. But it's like, everything's not going to go your way in a business. You're going to have theft. You might have people tell you they're going to post and don't post, you know, but you just got to get better, get smarter, adjust, adapt. And it makes you just a better business person. Yeah. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. Anybody starting a business, you're going to make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up. Just learn from them.
Through the timeline, give me like the major moments in your journey as a business owner that you were like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking quit. Like, I'm done. I can't do this. It's not meant.
Right.
Even in the beginning, like when you were like working out of your condo.
Yeah, I think working in the condo when... you know, I didn't, when it was just online, and I got fired from the first job. I was like, oh my God, like, you know, what to do next, you know. That was a pivot moment, because it's like, you know, I could either go work for someone else, I could work for somebody else and they have a plan too. So that was the first thought in my head, was like, being fired was actually a good thing because it made me want to work for myself. So that was number one, getting that spark in your mind to have the idea and then go for it. So then after that, you know, working at the next job and working 2 jobs and juggling it, it's like, make shit work for you. Like, I remember being, you know, on a work trip, but at the magic show, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and see some vendors, you know, make shit work for you, you know. You gotta make it work and make it make sense, you know. When your budget is tight, be creative. You know, social media is a great thing. You know, collaboration is a great thing. Don't think you need to have $100,000 in the bank to start a business. You don't. You can literally start from some little to nothing and grow it, but just have a backup plan. Know that, you know, when you're starting a business, you're not going to make money on it from maybe for a year or 2 years or 3 years. Wow. So you're going to have to grind. You're going to have to hustle, you know, and build it up. You know, everything I put into my business, the money that I made, I put it back. And I don't think I made my first check until 2018 when I really wrote, like, Jeremy Moore, like, a check, you know, and that felt good. So I think just keeping a perspective of the bigger picture. And like I said, don't give up. It's hard, but it's a roller coaster. So when it's good, you know, save for the rainy days. And that's another thing too. Like, we had really good days, save for it, because sometimes it's slow. You know, you got to be conservative. You just learn along the way what to do, but don't give up. At the end of the day, I feel like don't give up. If it's your passion, it's your dream, things will work out as you put the money and not the money, the energy into it. It will work out.
Did you keep telling yourself that in those moments?
I did. And I had, like I said, I had really great people to like reinforce, like, well, you know, what do you need, Jeremy? Like, you need me to come work or help? And some people, you know, helped for free. And that's nice to know you have a support system.
Because I feel like you're telling yourself these things that it seems like these things have been said to you so many times. Yeah. It's like it's embedded in your head.
Yeah, I really grew up thinking I could do anything I wanted to do, which is nice. Like my shout out to my mom. You know,
your mom.
Yeah, like they could be anything, and you know, and it just took like that point where I was just like, okay, let me do it. At this point,
is your mom in LA?
She is in between LA and Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Showgirl.
Showgirl. She's like in the
Mama Jeremy's a showgirl.
Right. She's in the what's it called, health field.
Oh. Yeah. That's what my mom's in.
Oh, I love that.
What does your mom do?
So she did X-ray technology for like 20 years, and then she was like a manager at a hospital, and then she like semi-retired, and then now she does like when they need not pro bono, but when they need like part-time technologists to come work, she'll come to LA because the rates are higher, you know, out here. But she's been with the baby for the first month, which was nice.
That's so cool.
She's so excited to be a grandma.
Oh, I bet. Did you have her first grandson?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm her only son.
You're her only son?
Yeah.
You don't have any siblings?
Well, I do have siblings on my dad's side.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. But for my mom, I'm her only son. So,
oh, man,
you know.
this is
what I would say, what was nice growing up, I'm sorry I'm hitting this.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. What was nice growing up, even though I was the only child, she never like pressured me like, well, you have a kid or, you know, but when she found out I was having a child, she was really over the moon about it.
What was it like growing up with just a single mom? Was that hard?
You know, it wasn't hard. I wouldn't say it was hard. Like I had everything you would want as a child, love. But I think growing up, as you get into your own person, you're like, okay, well, you know, why do I act this way? Or why do I like to do these things? And that made me want to find who my dad is. You know, and I did find him later in life, you know, and I was 30.
30.
Yeah, but, you know, I had everything I needed growing up, love and support and, you know, everything. She was great, but... you know, you always want to know the other side of you. That's normal. You know, anybody that's an only child or a single parent, not even an only child, a single parent. So if you grew up a single parent, you want to know, like, you know, what's my other half and what are they doing? And it's always a thought in your mind. So, you know, that was something I knew before I started a family. I want to know who my dad is and what he's doing and who he is. And so I did that first. And, you know, it just helped me become a more, I think, well-rounded person.
Where's he at?
He's in Studio City and he has a store.
No way. Wait.
Isn't it crazy?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's a store. And I
thought your mom was the reason you got into fashion.
No. I don't even know how I got into fashion. Like, literally, I loved Von Dutch. Like, that was my thing back in the day.
I love Von Dutch.
My email was like JM Von Dutch. And then I worked for True Religion. And then I just kind of fell into it. I wanted to be an OBGYN. Isn't that crazy?
Like your mom. Like you were going to like go into the medical field.
It's like having a baby. She didn't do that. Like people who deliver babies. Like that's what I was going to school for. I was a biology major.
Wow.
I was a biology major. And then that didn't work out. I was like, I'm too outgoing. And, you know, to be a doctor, you got to be in school 8-10 years.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't my thing. You know, so I pivoted. And I was like, well, you know, I like doing retail and I like, you know, working and I'm passionate about this. And I just made it into my own. So it's like, go to college and I majored in psychology, but I'm not doing psychology. So find out what your passion is. And college may not be for everybody, but for me, it was a window to like be consistent.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing we talked about with owning a business. Like you got to be consistent. You can't start a business 6 months, say, oh, fuck it, you know. Yeah. So having that college degree, even though I'm not a psychology major, but it taught me if you start something, you're going to finish it.
Yeah.
You know, you may have started with this, you pivoted though, you got your degree, and I got my degree. And not saying you got to get a degree from a 4 university to be successful, but know that certain things, when you start it, put your all into it to finish it.
Well, and I think that by you going to college and you pushing through and getting that degree, you had that mindset that, okay, if I'm going to be an OBGYN and be in school for like fucking 15 years, then if I'm going to do something else, I've already made this commitment in my head that whatever I'm going to choose to do is going to take a lot of time and a lot of consistency and a lot of perseverance.
Yeah, and it's okay to find something along the way. It's like, well, this isn't for me, and I like this better, And
but you're still willing to put in that work.
Exactly. You
the same amount of work.
Put in the work, and that's the number one thing when you're owning a business. Like, you got to put in the work because people look up to you. If you're not the hardest working person on your team, that's a problem.
You got more to prove too when you're a college dropout.
And you could be a college dropout, and that's it just taught me to just follow through with things. Yeah. And I see people who go through it and they drop out and they do other things, and that's fine.
Me,
right? No, that just taught me, And I didn't start with what I finished. I didn't clearly not an OBGYN, but I'm like, I'm gonna get this degree because I don't.
So your mom kind of inspired you in the medical field, at least.
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
but she's not an OBGYN. Yeah.
She is an X-ray. Well, now I guess call it an X-ray technologist. Like, just like mammograms and so
both in women's health.
Women's health, that's
Beautiful.
Women's health. Yeah. And it's funny, when I had my child, I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. But they do a lot. Like, kudos to them.
Was that such a full circle moment since you were almost an OBGYN?
And it was like, this is definitely not for me, but I appreciate them.
You were probably in the room like...
I was in the room and the baby, came out.
So glad I'm not this.
I was like, because I couldn't do it. But it was funny because there was one OBGYN, one doctor, but he was instructing like a new doctor of like, okay, now you do this, now you do that. Like,
wow.
And seeing her like pivot, and she did a great job. But then even like, everything is just like all inspiring, Human life is inspiring. But you may start with something and you may find out that that's not your passion. This is my passion, but it's the journey.
Do you think it's also a little genetic too, the things that we end up doing?
Absolutely. Because finding out my dad had that store, I was like, wow, you have a store.
No, the fact that your dad had a store, that's insane.
Yeah. It's really crazy.
What kind of store?
So he has a children's, it's a toy store. Classic Toys on Ventura Boulevard in the Studio City. Yeah, I should go. He's had it for like 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So this whole time you grew up with your dad in Studio City?
I didn't know.
With a toy store?
A toy store, yeah.
For kids?
For kids, yeah.
Did he know he had you?
No, not until I called him and I was like, hey, I've done this. I've done DNA tests.
Your mom just didn't tell you?
It wasn't that she didn't tell me. It was just like, the circumstances. And, when you come to an age and you're like, well, let me just dig deeper into the situation. If I need to take a 23andMe and find out. So that's what I did. I took a 23andMe and, connected me to my cousin on my dad's side. And from finding that out, then I was able to reach out to her. Like, I'm trying to find my dad, and this is what I know. And she said, well, hey, so I know what you said. Like, this is his name. And then from his name, I was able to Google him in his store and call him, like, literally that same day on Father's Day in 2020. And from there, he was like, well, when I meet you, and when I met him, I knew from the jump he was my dad.
Did he look like you?
Yeah, for sure. Same forehead. And, he's Jewish, 100% Jewish.
Are you Jewish?
Half Jewish, yeah. Half black, half Jewish.
Shut up.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah. So even that was like a revelation. And doing the test, like $100. It's not even that. Yeah.
$100 to find out that your dad was a toy store owner in Studio City.
Well, there's a lot.
And that you're Jewish.
That was the end of the story. I'll get into the other part of the story, but that was
the other part of the story.
We'll be here all night.
Oh shit! We gotta do a part 2.
We might do a part 2. Yeah, but it was a journey. It's definitely a journey. But that's one of the things about me. It's like I'm not afraid to the unknown. Like I'll step into it, and that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. Like it's not for everybody. Everybody cannot be a business owner, and it's okay. Don't feel like you got to be whatever, social media or people try to force you. If you really have a passion to do it, like it was inside of me.
Do you love the fact that you're a successful Black-owned business?
I love it. I love helping other like up and coming Black businesses now. Like we do consignments with, new designers, and I love to help up and coming Black designers. And I've had maybe 10 different brands that have been featured in the store in the 1.5 years that have been at Beverly Center. So I think that's a good takeaway, is just share your knowledge and help people, along the way. And I think it's great to be an example of you could do this. You could start where I started. You can have any sort of background, and you can have the hard work and perseverance, and you can make it.
How many Black-owned businesses are there at the mall?
So I think right now they are I think there's one left. It was a lot more earlier in the pandemic. And unfortunately, they're not there. But it's me and there's another young lady. She has a women's boutique. So 2 of us.
Only 2?
2.
At the Beverly Center?
2, yeah.
But it's LA.
It's LA, but 2 is, some malls are 0.
Black people literally make LA
malls,
fashion, LA music, all of it.
Some malls are 0.
I'm
It's
shocked.
hard.
I'm like shocked.
It's hard to even be an independent brand. It's hard to have and then above that to have a brick and mortar, and then above that have a brick and mortar at the mall. It's hard.
Is it? Do you think it's harder as a Black man to like start a business?
I think definitely when it came to like me going to banks and getting loans, it was definitely harder. Like I said, like I was self-funded, and it wasn't because I didn't try, but it was because I was trying to get the funding and I couldn't. So I was like, well, I'm gonna just build this, take 100 to 200 to 400 to 1,000 to 2,000, and I did it that way. And then once I was established, and I had a better relationship. But it's really true. Like you go to a bank if you're Black, and they look at you differently. They profile you. And that's unfortunate. But I don't take anything away from my journey.
I'm asking for the people that are watching, and a lot of people don't know this, and I think even just every time I hear it, every time I ask these questions, because obviously I really do want to bring more awareness to this, it saddens me like it's the first time that I'm hearing it, because I just can't believe that still to this day, you're getting profiled for a loan.
Story? So this is even with a loan. So I have all kind of brands in my store.
Totally.
And I'm not going to even mention which brand, but I've been trying to get this one brand.
By the way, guys, when he says he's got a lot of brands, I'm talking everything. Like major brands, like Fila.
Everything. But there was one brand in particular I've been trying to get for years.
Yeah.
And even going to trade shows, like giving my information, and they're just, blowing me off. And so finally, after, the Black Lives Matter, the whole movement, I was like, do y'all not want to sell to me because I'm Black? I said that in the email. And as soon as I said that, literally, I had the sales manager call me the next day, like, let's set you up. That's not this. That's not, but this is what we go through.
Wow.
That we have to, go through these channels and these things that happen because they don't take us seriously. And now I'm probably one of their best accounts. We're blowing through it. But like, I had to say that to get their attention. It's like, why aren't you noticing me? Like, I don't understand.
That's insane.
Yeah, so we go through a lot. It's not easy being minority owned. Just historically, the challenges of, generational wealth, and it's hard. It's harder for us. Absolutely. And, that's why I want to just do my part, pay it forward. And we donate things. We have a shirt, Black Lives Matter. It doesn't go to the Black Lives Matter movement, but just the wording and what it stands for, we donated to NAACP, Legal Defense Fund. And we've been doing that for 3 years. So we give back to, we donate to charities. It's about giving back and just paying it forward.
I love that.
Thank you.
I need that shirt.
Did you wear it? I think you
wore it.
wore it.
Fucking went because I moved across the country.
I remember, yes.
For a relationship.
Yes. I remember, yeah.
I'm never leaving LA again.
You're done with Florida, right?
I'm done with Florida.
Bad things are in Florida.
I am so done with Florida.
Bad things are in Florida.
Oh my God, never move to Florida. Especially if you found love. It's not love.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is not love.
Learn.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's not good.
I really like Miami and Florida anyway.
New York was love. That was love. Just ran its course. Wasn't the long-term love.
When are you gonna dye my hair?
Oh my God.
Do you think I should? Let me ask you a question.
I love.
But as a dad,
when you bleach
should I have a blonde? Should dads have a blonde hair?
Did you really just ask me that?
I just want to know your perspective.
Get out.
Because I don't want to lose. I don't want it to strip away and me be bald.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm just asking your opinion.
Bleaching your head doesn't make you bald, Jeremy.
Okay, it's not unhealthy.
No.
At my age, because my dad and have baldness in my family.
You're gonna be bald regardless.
So that's not gonna stop anything.
Hate to tell you that.
Okay.
But you know what I actually just did? I got a certification in extensions, and they are now coming out with a men's extension, aka it's a headpiece.
No, I don't want to get that.
But if you lose your hair,
I want to get that.
Okay, fine. We'll start buzzing you.
I've just been thinking about doing the blonde because that was a vibe. Remember?
No, when you bleach your hair, this is good. When you bleach your hair, it changes the color.
Right.
It doesn't create alopecia. Alopecia is a disease that attacks the hair follicles.
Does it affect the thickness of your hair?
if you damage it, but we're
Okay.
not going to damage your fucking
No,
hair.
I know that.
If you bleach it over and over and over
so
again.
it's been 2-3 years. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You think I'm safe to do it again?
Well, it's black again.
I took
You got
treatments.
no-
I didn't tell you I took treatments.
Did you?
PRP. You know what that is?
Is that where it makes your hair grow?
It's when they take plasma. They take your blood. They
Yeah.
take the plasma from your blood and they inject it in your head.
Oh, that's dope.
I did a whole treatment with it, and it helped a lot.
I think my ex was doing that.
So I don't want to damage. If I paid all this money to get my hair to grow again, and it grew, it's nice and thick.
Yeah.
I don't want to dye it and damage it.
It's gonna keep growing out of your head. The PRP is
Okay.
gonna keep working.
Okay.
Regardless.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my question.
We're gonna dye it.
Okay.
Because I love you blonde.
It was a vibe. Yeah,
It was
that
a vibe.
I
It wasn't even like really blonde. It was like a dirty.
It was like
blonde.
that honey. Yeah, that's what I asked you for. Yeah.
Sick.
I liked it. Yeah.
Okay. This week.
Okay.
You guys are gonna see Jeremy be blonde.
I'll be blind. Well, if you guys are around the Beverly Center, you have to come 8500 Beverly Boulevard on the 6th floor next to Bloomingdale's. We specialize streetwear, gender neutral. You will find some great pieces.
I told Jeremy that I was gonna start making custom jackets, and I was
love it.
like, Jeremy, you're gonna put them in your store, right?
I love it. You showed me one. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And
I gotta
you
put more
you
paint
could do your
splatters,
little
though.
doggy with the
Yeah.
photo shoot.
I think I want to do like a dog line eventually. I think that'd be cute.
Oh, my aunt will love you. We have a dog, Cookie, and she's all about everything dog.
Oh my
doggy,
gosh.
yeah.
I feel like
But yeah.
that's more likely to sell because people and their
People
dogs,
love their dogs.
they spend their money,
They
man.
love their fucking dogs. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Jeremy and I could talk all
We
fucking
could.
night.
We'd be here till midnight.
And Jeremy's going to pound me
Absolutely.
with questions after this episode's over.
It's the after show. It's the after show for me.
Yeah. Honestly,
All right.
my video editor is probably going to put it at the end of this episode. All the
Yeah.
questions.
Right.
It's going to be like blooper
Because that
reel.
would be good. Those are good questions. And you were being authentic.
My love life.
Ooh. Is they going to be upset if you talk about? Mm-mm. Okay, good. Then you're good.
You're doing good
Do
with the
y'all live
pronouns, though.
You see, I have to think. I'm like, they.
They.
Right.
They and Bay.
Or do you guys live together?
No.
Where does they live?
They live in Hollywood and I live in East LA.
Okay.
And we're going to take our time.
Okay.
Because I do not want to do what I've done in the past.
Right. I understand.
I have
completely.
taken way too many jumps in the past and like built the parachute on the way down. And this time I'm going to wait until the parachute is built and then jump.
Solid foundation for sure.
Man. Well, and it's great too because they're in the same boat. Like we both have been through the ringer
Right.
with relationships. We've both been hurt. We've
Right.
both been like, they're also a hardcore romantic and lover like I am. And
What's their sign?
they are a Capricorn. Yeah. No, it's really good for me because I'm
January
a Leo.
or December?
January.
Those are the good ones. Okay.
Yeah. I know. No, it's good for me because I needed somebody who
Okay.
like was grounded and more
Yeah,
earthy.
for sure.
Because I'm so fire and
sure.
I'm very like dominant and intense, and I needed somebody that could handle that intensity,
Mm-hmm.
but also know how to wrangle me and like teach me because, I think that even though I've been in relationships off and
Mm-hmm.
on throughout my whole like 20s, I've always had no ego in a relationship. Like when I enter a relationship, I completely lower my ego. I leave it at the door. And I'm very much so like, I'm still a dominant because I'm a business owner and I'm a boss and I'm an intense woman. But I also have this like dichotomy where I am kind of submissive in a relationship. And I really want to be with somebody who I can learn from and they teach me shit. And I think I have been with really toxic masculine people who at the end of the day wanted to flex ego and just, I don't know, act like they wore the pants when in reality they didn't know who the fuck they were.
Yeah.
And I saw right through it and I called it
Saw
out.
through the BS.
Yeah, and I think when you call somebody out and they're not ready to like hear it, that's when shit hits the fan. And when people call me out, I listen, like,
Right.
and even if
you grow, you take it into consideration.
yeah, and even if
See
it's
what you
like
can do better.
resistance at first, like it's never fun when you get called out and when you have a mirror on you and you like see your shit. But even if there's some resistance at first, I always end up, going, fuck, like
Right.
I need to fix that, because I really do want to be like the best partner and the best friend and the best person in general. Like I can be like, I watched my parents have so much resistance with each other my whole life. And like, I don't know, I knew that they truly loved each other, but my parents were both so stubborn in being what each other needed. And at the end of the day, I ultimately learned that sometimes it's not that you're even stubborn, it's that you're just not meant to be what that person needs either. Like there are certain things, attributes, morals.
Yeah, it's just not compatible sometimes.
Yeah,
and
like
you could love the fuck out of them, but
Yeah.
are you meant to be in that forever? And maybe
Yeah.
not, and that's hard.
Well, and like with me, I've entered relationships and I've had a couple intense, really, honestly, really serious. Like I had a really serious relationship for 3 years, and
Do you feel like you've met the love of your life?
right now,
Or in your, like, have you ever met the love of your life?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I have met the love of my
Okay.
life.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Who is it? Nobody needs to know,
That part.
but I have.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
Tune in next time. Part 2.
All right, guys, that's it. That is it. I'm
love
done
it.
rambling. Jeremy, fuck you.
Oh, stop it.
If you guys liked this episode,
Yes.
hit the like and subscribe button
Yes.
down
And follow
below.
me, 8586. Follow Divinity.
Yeah,
Follow
all of
the
his handles
podcast.
are right here on the screen.
Yes,
8586 on all social platforms.
Yeah.
Are you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter and TikTok.
You're on Twitter?
I don't be posting, but I'm on it. I'll be looking.
All right, guys, follow 8586.
Yeah.
And I am Divinity Ray, your host, and we will see you next Saturday. Bye, guys.
Bye.